boys and girls. It's Friday. We have made it one full week with online learning, and I am so proud of all the work that you have put in this week. I just have a couple announcements to make before I start the read aloud. First of all, today is Layla's birthday, and I would like to wish her a happy birthday from all of us. I know she's probably missing all her friends just like we're all missing each other. So I just wanted to give her a shout out and say, happy birthday, Layla. Also, I want to give a shout out to a few students who have been emailing me and giving me updates on their progress and what they've enjoyed about the read-alouds. So Ethan loves listening to the read-alouds with his family. Good job, Ethan. Marin has sent me some pictures and written me letters, friendly letters, telling me what she enjoys doing, which is dance. And she sent me a little video and some pictures of her and her sister. Way to go, Marin. Owen's favorite part of the story so far is when Roz stepped in the cow doo-doo. That was pretty funny, and I figured he would think that was funny. Avi enjoys listening to the stories every day, and she has thanked me several times for doing them, so thank you, Avi. Millie sent me a picture of herself with the screen up, so she sent me a picture of her listening to the story. Derek has written me several reflection journals, so that's pretty awesome, and he's having a good time riding his bike and playing. Abhinav listened to the video 4 times the first day. I guess he really likes seeing Mrs. Williams. Miss you, Abhinav. Callan, this is one of your favorite things. I know that. Thanks for emailing me and telling me. You're doing a great job. And Sarah, she has fun listening to the read-alouds as well. So if I missed anybody, make sure you send me an email next week and tell me what you've been doing, and tell me what's your favorite part of the story, The Wild Robot Escapes. What's your favorite part so far? Also, I would love to know if anybody listened to Dolly Parton read her read aloud last week. Remember, she's going to read to you every Thursday at 6 p.m. on YouTube. I'll try to remember to send the link each week. Last night she read, what was the name of it? The Little Engine That Could, and she did a great job. Mrs. Williams watched it herself. All right, so on to The Wild Robot Escapes, Chapter 12. Here we go. The Homesick Robot. We all feel homesick at one time or another. Even the robot felt something like homesickness. Roz belonged with her son and her friends on her island. She was determined to find her way back there, but how? If the robot was seen doing anything unusual, Mr. Sharif might have her destroyed. Roz had to be careful, so she calmly went about her farm work, day in and day out. But all the while, the homesick robot was secretly planning her escape. I wonder how she's going to do this. Chapter 13, The Electronic Signal. Beep, 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 beep. A message was flashing on Roz's computer. The drone was reporting that gusty winds had sent it spiraling into the neighbor's bean field. So the robot grabbed the big, heavy toolbox and marched out to clean up the mess. Roz found the flying machine upside down with its landing gear poking above the rows of leafy plants. It had some scrapes and scratches, but no major damage. She flipped it over, brushed it off, and tightened a few screws. Then she said, "Return to Hilltop Farm." The engines started buzzing and the machine lifted off the ground and flew home. As Roz marched back, she cut through a strip of forest that separated the two farms. There were trees and ferns and rocks and shrubs and small forest animals. It was a little piece of wilderness, and suddenly the robot was thinking of that wild island she missed so much. Someday she would try to run away and return to her true home. Was this the moment for her escape? Could it be as easy as sneaking off through these trees? No, it couldn't be that easy. Ahead, on the other side of the trees, Mr. Sharif was sitting in his pickup truck, watching Roz. Because of the robot's electronic signal, he knew she had stepped off the property, and he had raced out there to see what she was up to. Roz marched over to the truck, and Mr. Sharif leaned out his window. He had a serious expression on his face. "Don't ever leave the property without my permission. Understand?" "I understand," said Roz. She understood all right. She understood that she was always being watched. She understood that she was trapped on Hilltop Farm. Look at that cool truck. Chapter 14, The Sad Truth. That night, while everyone else was sleeping, Roz stayed up with her computer and researched sneaky subjects. She looked for diagrams of her own body and for maps of the area and for any news that might help her escape. But the robot found nothing. The computer only let her access information about farming. She was cut off from the outside world. It was clear that if Roz wanted to escape from her new life, she would need help. But the cows didn't know how to escape, and Mr. Sharif would never let his robot leave. Who would possibly help Roz run away from the farm? Chapter 15, The Children. As time rolled by, Roz saw less and less of Mr. Sharif, but she saw more and more of the children. They were shy at first. The robot might look up from the pasture and see Jad peeking around the corner of the barn, or see Jaya spying from the branches of a tree. But the children were growing bolder. And then one day, Roz marched into the workshop and heard giggling. She walked to the closet in the back, opened the door, and there was Jaya, smiling and trying not to laugh. "I'm hiding from my brother," whispered the girl. "Close the door." The robot closed the door. A minute later, Jad ran in, flushed and out of breath. "Hey, Roz, have you seen Jaya?" The robot just stared. "I know she's in here," said Jad, and he began prowling around the room. He searched under the work table and behind the tool chest and between all the bulky workshop machines. Finally, he marched up to Roz and said, "I order you to show me where my sister is hiding." The robot pointed to the closet. Jad smiled mischievously and tiptoed over. Then he flung open the door and screamed, "Found you!" "No fair," Jaya whined. I'm not sure I'm saying her name right. Jaya. We'll go with Jaya. "Roz showed you where I was hiding." The girl scowled at the robot. "That wasn't very nice, Roz, but you can make it up to me by playing hide and seek. Count to 100 and then try to find my brother and me, okay?" There was a brief pause. Then the robot said, "Okay." Jaya and Jad squealed with delight and scampered out the door as Roz started counting. The robot's sensitive ears listened carefully to the children outside. She heard quick footsteps crunching across the driveway. She heard a giggle and the sounds of tree branches shaking. She heard a grunt and the sounds of hay bales being shoved aside. When the robot finished counting, it took her exactly 5 seconds to find Jaya up in a tree. It took her another 8 seconds to find Jad in the hayloft. "Wow, Roz is really good at seeking," said Jad as he picked hay from his hair. Jaya snorted. "Yeah, well, let's just see how good she is at hiding." Roz was even better at hiding. While the children counted, the robot silently slipped away, and an hour later they still hadn't found her. The siblings stood in the driveway, defeated. "We give up, Roz," shouted Jad. "You win," shouted Jaya. The junk pile beside the barn started moving, and Roz appeared. The robot had been sitting there all along, perfectly camouflaged among the scrap metal and old farm machines. "The next time we play, you have to let one of us win," said Jaya to Roz. And the next time they played, Roz did. The robot enjoyed having the children around. They brought a little lightness into her world, and she hoped to bring a little lightness into theirs. Life must have been dark since their mother passed away. However, Roz had another reason for wanting the children around. She needed them. Her only chance of ever returning home was if Jaya and Jad could find it in their hearts to help her escape. But this was a delicate situation. If Roz tried too hard, the children might say something to their father. If she didn't try hard enough, she might be stuck on that farm forever. And that's where we're going to stop today. We'll pick up with chapter 16 on Monday. Let's read our 365 Days of Wonder. Today is April 3rd, Friday, in case you're losing track like Mrs. Williams. Let's see. Knowledge in truth is the great sun in the firmament. Life and power are scattered with all its beams. So knowledge is important, being truthful is important, and life is happy. We have to focus on that in these days that are kind of tough. So we're going to keep our focus on being happy and being grateful. One thing that my family is doing every night before we go to bed, we each have to go around and share something that we're grateful for. So maybe next week in your email to Mrs. Williams, you can share your favorite parts of the story, as well as some things that you're grateful for. I'm grateful for each and every one of you, and I miss you terribly. I also wanted to give a shout out to one other person, but I can't remember who it is. Somebody emailed me and told me that they ordered the book, The Wild Robot Escapes, so they could follow along with me. I can't remember who it was. So next week, email me if that's you, and I'll give you a shout out next week. Let me see our joke for the day. Okay, let's see. What is a penguin's favorite vegetable? Think about it. What is a penguin's favorite vegetable? Answer: snow peas. All right, boys and girls, you can also email me a joke and maybe I will say it on the video. There's another way we can stay connected. So, boys and girls, I'm going to sign off for this week. I miss all of you, and I can't wait to see you next week on Zoom. We will be scheduling a Zoom meeting next week. So stay tuned for that. Have a great weekend. Get some rest. Go outside and play in your backyard, but stay home and stay safe. Love you guys.